Hello everyone. Today, we will talk about improving readability with style and design. Improving ease of reading with completeness. In the workplace, messages typically serve specific purposes, such as updating team members, promoting a service to clients, or assigning tasks. The goal of completeness in these communications is vital, as it ensures that recipients receive all the necessary information to act immediately. When messages lack detail, recipients may feel the need to reach out for clarification, or they might ignore the message altogether, which can lead to further miscommunication and inefficiencies. To achieve completeness, there are 3 fundamental strategies. First, it is essential to provide all relevant information. This requires careful judgment about what to include, as overwhelming the reader with too much detail can be distracting. Conversely, omitting critical information can result in confusion. Strategic planning, writing, and reviewing can help ensure that only pertinent details are shared, keeping the message focused and effective. Second, accuracy is paramount in business communication. Colleagues, clients, and customers rely on the information provided to make important decisions. Inaccuracies, whether due to misinformation, miscalculations, poor word choice, or simple typos, can damage credibility. A single incorrect statement can lead readers to doubt the overall message and diminish trust in future communications. Finally, being specific enhances the clarity of messages. Readers expect precise information rather than vague statements, as specificity satisfies their need for clear answers. When details are specific, it not only helps in engaging the reader effectively, but also builds the sender's credibility. In contrast, vague messages can create frustration and lead to disengagement, making it less likely that the audience will respond positively. Improving ease of reading with conciseness. Conciseness in writing significantly enhances the ease of reading. It doesn't mean stripping away relevant information, but rather eliminating unnecessary words, which allows readers to quickly grasp the main ideas. Clarence Otis Jr., former CEO of Darden Restaurants, emphasized this point in discussing business writing. He noted that the focus in the business context is more on functional communication rather than elegant expression. For Otis, the priority is on conveying ideas efficiently. Businesses need to say as much as possible in as few words as necessary. The emphasis should be on clarity of ideas rather than the sophistication of language. To achieve conciseness, several strategies can be employed. One of the first steps is to control paragraph length. Readers often form initial impressions of a text's readability by examining how long the paragraphs are. Long paragraphs can lead to skimming, where readers search for specific information rather than engaging deeply with the content. Such lengthy sections can also suggest disorganization and a lack of consideration for the reader's time. As a guideline, paragraphs should typically range from 40 to 80 words. For routine messages, shorter paragraphs of 20 to 30 words are often more effective. While some complex topics may require longer paragraphs, it is generally advisable not to exceed 150 words. Most word processing software makes it easy to check paragraph length, ensuring that you maintain reader engagement. One common reason for lengthy paragraphs is including multiple main ideas within a single section. Keeping each paragraph focused on a single idea enhances reader comprehension and accessibility. When paragraphs contain several topics, readers may become confused and overlook important points. By unifying paragraphs around one main idea, you not only control their length, but also strengthen the overall clarity and reasoning of your message. Use short sentences in most cases. Short sentences contribute to better comprehension for readers, similar to the benefits of shorter paragraphs. Research from the American Press Institute demonstrates this relationship effectively. When sentences are kept to 10 words or fewer, readers achieve nearly 100% comprehension. However, as sentence lengths reach around 20 words, comprehension drops to approximately 80%, with a significant decline to just 30% when sentences extend to 28 words. Therefore, for routine messages, it is advisable to aim for an average sentence length of 15 words or fewer. For more complex business communications, you can extend this to an average of 20 words, but judiciously minimizing length remains essential. Okay. Now avoid redundancy. Reducing word count and enhancing readability can also be achieved by eliminating redundancy in your writing. Redundant phrases contain words that repeat the same meaning, which can contribute to unnecessary length. For instance, the phrase past history is redundant because history is inherently past. By removing such phrases, you can streamline your message and improve clarity. Avoid empty phrases. In addition to redundancy, many phrases serve only to fill space without conveying substantial meaning. While these phrases may be common in conversational English, they are often superfluous in written communication. Eliminating them can tighten your writing and strengthen your main ideas. Avoid wordy prepositional phrases. Another effective strategy for achieving conciseness is to minimize wordy prepositional phrases. By converting these phrases into more straightforward, single-word verbs, you can often reduce your word count by 30 to 40%. Prepositional phrases are not inherently problematic. They can be useful in certain contexts. However, their overuse typically leads to wordiness and decreased clarity in your writing. Focus on using precise language to communicate your ideas more efficiently. Improving ease of reading with natural style. To enhance the readability of your writing, it's crucial to align your style with the way your readers naturally think and communicate. When your writing reflects the reader's thought processes and speech patterns, it minimizes the mental effort required to understand your message. This is particularly significant for readers who are busy and juggling various work responsibilities. Several principles underlie this approach. First, using action verbs enables faster information processing. Second, structuring sentences in a doer-action-object format aligns with how people typically think, further enhancing comprehension. Additionally, omitting the subject or doer can lead to confusion for readers. Lastly, simple and short words are generally processed more quickly than long, complex ones. Use action verbs when possible. In business writing, adopting a positive, action-oriented tone is vital. Most workplace communication aims to foster action, and using action verbs cultivates this dynamic, making your writing more engaging and typically reducing word count. To incorporate action verbs effectively, consider revising your sentences in two ways. Convert nouns to action verbs. For example, instead of saying, have a meeting, use meet, or replace, have a discussion with discuss. Replace forms of to be. Identify forms of the verb to be, like is, are, am, and substitute them with action verbs. For example, instead of the food bank is a great place for new skill development, you might say, the food bank offers many opportunities to develop new skills. Use active voice. Another effective strategy for improving your writing is to employ active voice instead of passive voice. The grammatical structures differ significantly. Active voice. Do as subject plus verb plus object. For example, the food bank provides training for all social ambassadors. Passive voice. Object as subject plus be verb plus doer. Optional. For example, training is provided to all social ambassadors. Active voice clearly identifies the doer. The food bank, right away, uses strong verbs and follows a straightforward structure. In contrast, passive voice begins with the object, uses weaker verbs, and often omits the doer, leading to a lack of clarity. Using active voice offers several advantages. It reflects the natural way people process information, emphasizes action in business communication, and provides clarity by specifying the doer. It also tends to result in fewer words, making your writing more concise. While active voice is generally preferred in business writing, there are scenarios where passive voice may be appropriate, such as when you want to avoid placing blame, or when neutrality is desired, such as in research reports. Ultimately, striking a balance between active and passive voice based on the context can enhance the effectiveness of your communication. Use short and familiar words and phrases. Choosing short, conversational, and familiar words enhances the clarity of your writing. Longer or less common words, often used with the intent to sound more intelligent, can backfire. They can slow down comprehension and distract readers from your core message, potentially giving the impression that the writer is out of touch or pretentious. Favoring familiar language ensures that your ideas are easily accessible and relatable. Use parallel language. Parallel language involves maintaining a consistent grammatical structure within sentences or paragraphs, particularly when presenting lists or series. For example, if you describe a product with 3 characteristics, it's important to use the same grammatical form for each descriptor, whether they are all adjectives, nouns, or verbs. This consistency aids in faster processing and comprehension, allowing readers to more easily absorb the information presented. Use parallel language. Parallel language involves maintaining a consistent grammatical structure within sentences or paragraphs, particularly when presenting lists or series. For example, if you describe a product with 3 characteristics, it's important to use the same grammatical form for each descriptor, whether they are all adjectives, nouns, or verbs. This consistency aids in faster processing and comprehension, allowing readers to more easily absorb the information presented. Avoid buzzwords and figures of speech. To keep your writing engaging, steer clear of buzzwords, overused terms that can annoy or alienate readers. These phrases typically lack the freshness needed to captivate an audience and can create negative perceptions among business professionals. Additionally, figures of speech like idioms and metaphors are often inappropriate in business writing due to their non-literal meanings. Since precision is essential in business contexts, the ambiguity of such expressions can lead to misunderstandings. Many idioms and metaphors have also become clichés, losing their impact and clarity. Avoid "it is" and "there are." Business writing thrives on specificity, and starting sentences with "it is" or "there are" often obscures the subject. These constructions typically lack clarity and add unnecessary wordiness to your message. When many sentences begin with these phrases, the writing can feel tedious. A useful strategy for improving your writing is to ask what it refers to. If the subject isn't clear, your readers will likely be confused as well. For example, the sentence, "It is wonderful to see kids not worrying about where their next meal comes from," is vague. Rephrasing it to "seeing kids not worrying about their next meal is wonderful" clarifies the subject and conveys the message more directly and naturally. Improving ease of reading with navigational design. The primary aim of document design is to facilitate easy navigation of your message. This involves asking yourself crucial questions such as, how can I help my readers quickly identify the main ideas? How can I ensure they find the specific information they are interested in? To improve navigational design, several features can be implemented, including headings, highlighting, lists, white space, and simplicity. Use headings. In documents that contain complex or information-rich content, headings serve as signposts for readers, helping them identify key ideas and quickly navigate to relevant sections. Consistency in font style and formatting of headings enhances readability. Most word processing programs, like Microsoft Word, offer formatting features that allow you to assign heading levels, like Heading 1, Heading 2. When creating headings, ensure they concisely and accurately reflect the content of the section. For example, an effective heading like, "Who needs our help?" succinctly conveys information, while a verbose heading such as, "How do we determine who needs help the most and then target those high-need individuals?" may overwhelm readers. Similarly, vague subheadings like "Community needs" could lead to important information being overlooked. Highlight key words and phrases. To draw attention to important ideas or phrases, consider using bold, italics, or underlining. However, this type of formatting should be used sparingly. Excessive use can diminish the impact of your main ideas. Generally, it's best to apply only one type of formatting for a highlighted word or phrase, for instance, using either bold or italics, but not both simultaneously. Use bulleted and numbered lists. Lists are effective tools in business writing, making information more easily noticeable and memorable when presented with bullets or numbers. Organizing content this way enhances clarity and aids reader retention. Use white space generously. The amount of white space, unoccupied areas in your document, significantly influences how readers perceive your document. A layout with too much text and insufficient white space can appear cluttered and daunting. Conversely, an excess of white space can make a document look insufficient. While double spacing is common in academic settings, it is less frequent in workplace documents, which typically have a more compact format. Keep it simple. While visual appeal matters, the priority in business writing is to convey your message clearly and effectively. Focus on creating a document that facilitates easy navigation for your readers. Avoid excessive formatting features that could distract from the core message. By prioritizing simplicity and navigational ease, you enhance the overall readability and effectiveness of your communication. Effective review strategies for business messages. Expert business writers allocate their time differently than average writers, investing more time in planning and reviewing, and proportionately less in drafting. They focus on how their messages will influence and affect their audience, which is critical in ensuring effective communication. Many professionals are eager to send messages as soon as they finish drafting, driven by a desire to move on to the next task. However, Resisting this urge and carefully reviewing messages can significantly enhance their success and reduce the risk of embarrassing mistakes. The reviewing process encompasses 3 interrelated components: conducting the FAIR test, proofreading, and soliciting feedback, though feedback may not be necessary for routine messages. These components help ensure that communication is clear, accurate, and fair. For short, routine messages, experts can complete the FAIR test and proofreading in just a few minutes, while longer, more important communications may require extensive review time, sometimes spanning weeks or months. Conduct a FAIR test. The FAIR test is a framework for ensuring ethical business communication, focusing on 4 key elements. Facts. Ensure that your facts are accurate and well supported. Clarify any assumptions and avoid presenting slanted or biased information. Access. Consider whether you have provided recipients with sufficient access to decision-making processes and information. Be transparent about your motives and avoid any hidden agendas. Impacts. Reflect on how the message will affect various stakeholders. Evaluate potential impacts from ethical, corporate, and legal perspectives. Respect. Demonstrate respect for the individuals involved by acknowledging their aspirations, thoughts, feelings, and overall well-being. Proofreading is the thorough review of your document to confirm its effectiveness and accuracy. This process might involve multiple readings, each with a different focus. On the first pass, put yourself in the shoes of your audience to anticipate their responses. On subsequent readings, check for issues related to writing style and language mechanics, ensuring that the document is polished and professional. Get feedback. Seeking feedback from trusted colleagues is an invaluable step in the review process. As noted by business writing experts, enlisting others to read and react to your message can illuminate potential weaknesses. Colleagues can assess whether the tone and style are appropriate for the intended audience, suggest changes to offending words or phrases, and evaluate whether the central idea is framed correctly. Engaging test readers simulates how the intended recipient might respond to your message. Before they read the document, guide them to consider specific aspects such as the clarity of ideas, the strength of the business logic, the intended emotional impact, and the overall tone.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to channel.